Yes, sir. Good evening, dear educators. Today we will learn from our eminent personality, Dr. Dheeraj Mehrotra, MS, MPhil, PhD in Education Management, a white and yellow belt in Six Sigma, a certified NLP Business Diploma holder, is an educational innovator, author with expertise in Six Sigma in education. Welcome, sir. Welcome from Education and Learning team, sir.
सर के लिए इतना कुछ है बोलने के लिए बट टाइम शॉर्टेज होने के कारण हम ज्यादा एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाएंगे बिकॉज वी ऑल नो हु इज धीरज सर सो धीरज सर कुड वी स्टार्ट धीरज सर
Yes, yeah.
या
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure, in fact, to share some of the views regarding national education policy and the national curriculum framework. Now, friends, when we talk about these two terms, understanding the NEP and understanding the framework, they are two different things, but they rotate in the same capacity of what we understand from NCF and how it connects with the national education policy. So I would touch upon जो हमारा आज का इनिशिएटिव रहेगा कि नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क स्कूल एजुकेशन से कैसे आधारित है, कैसे रिलेटेड है और इससे क्या चेंज होने वाला है। और सबसे पहले तो मैं आप सभी का I'm really thankful from the core of my heart that this Sunday evening you people are glued to the screen, but for a reason. And that reason obviously is learning, which is going to activate the scenario of your productivity in the classroom. So as teachers, as educators, हम सबको with the march of time, learner होना है और the more we learn, the more we earn in terms of knowledge, recognition and pride. It is quite obvious that the parents are much literate as compared to we, because they are on their toes to get the best education for their children, and they expect a lot from us. And the reason being, it's a live example. When we invite them for the parent teacher meeting, they come with queries, they come with framework, NEP में तो ऐसा है, आप मैडम कब से करा रही हैं, आप सर कब से implement करा रहे हैं, they try, and that is an obvious fact because technology has made them so very near to what is happening in the education world. And I was surprised when that date sheet was shared to me by the parent, first of all, so for the CBSE, 10th and 12th. So they are so very interested for their children and for the education of their children. उनको देखते हुए हमारी भी responsibility होती है कि हम अपने ABC जो पढ़े हैं, whatever study we have had in our years should not be the limit of our learning. It should expand with the march of time, because आज का ABC भी बदल गया है. A for Apple की जगह A for Android हो गया है, B for BlackBerry हो गया है और C for Cloud हो गया है. और ये कोविड ने हमें बता दिया कि we need to unlearn, relearn and master the new learning in order to face the smart generation in the classroom. If you don't talk about their vocabulary, the children tend to sleep with their eyes open. फिर आपको उनको हिलाना पड़ता है, where are you, because you need to be interesting in the classroom, and that's what the NEP talks about. That's what the NCF talks about. So without wasting much of time, I would just like to close my video and share the screen where I shall be discussing about the framework, and I'm sure you people can take the screenshot of whatever you feel like, because that capacity also underlines my win-win approach, of yours as a part of a learner, right? So National Curriculum Framework for School Education uh, talks about being implemented, being shared. But before that, हमको समझना है कि ये सब एनसीएफ है क्या. बहुत समय पहले जब हम ऑडिट करते थे स्कूलों में, I used to come to Punjab even because majority are from Punjab region. I used to go to Daswa, I used to go to Hoshiarpur on behalf of GEMS Education to audit schools. And that time, I got to know that, yes, library में NCF का copy है कि नहीं है. It was limited to that knowledge. Did the teachers know about the NCF? But today, because of the power of technology, because of the awareness of the parents, that अभी 2-3 सालों में हमको NCF इतना परेशान कर रहा है कि अरे हाउ कम आई हैव टू डू व्हाट आई हैव टू डू विद एनसीएफ एंड एनईपी. जो भी हो हमको तो पढ़ाना है, हम पढ़ाएंगे जो भी बुक होगा. बट ऐसा नहीं है फ्रेंड्स. You need to understand because this is the high time. So the term NCF talks about National Curriculum Framework, which refers to a document or a framework that outlines the educational curriculum and guidelines for a country's educational system. और आप ये मत सोचिए कि सिर्फ इंडिया में ही एनसीएफ है. नहीं, एनसीएफ इज इन एवरी कंट्री. इट डिपेंड्स फ्रॉम कंट्री टू कंट्री what are the guidelines, but for sure it is there in every country. National Curriculum Framework क्या पढ़ाना चाहना चाहिए, किस लेवल पे क्या पढ़ाना चाहिए, ये बताता है एनसीएफ. Key points regarding National Curriculum Framework includes curriculum guidelines. कि क्या गाइडलाइन होना चाहिए, किस लेवल तक हमको क्या पढ़ाना है, क्या लर्निंग ऑब्जेक्टिव होना चाहिए, क्या कंटेंट होना चाहिए और क्या अप्रोच होना चाहिए पढ़ाने का. पेडागोजिकल. शैल आई कंटिन्यू?
हाँ, यस सर. वेलकम बैक सर, प्लीज.
Okay. Right. So, friends, I was discussing about NCF and I was trying to make things clear, wherein we tend to reflect on the idea about what NCF is and how it is different in different countries, and how also with a reference to understanding about things and what way does it reflect in our learning scenario. Also, the fact is that they are interrelated with practical aspects of the national education policy. And let's understand about the highlight of that very NCF, which talks about the 5+3+3+4 stage system, which we are going to be implementing it very soon. The schooling has been divided into 4 stages based on the styles of learning. Best suited for the age groups. Foundation age stage will be with the ages 3 to 8. Preparatory will be age 8 to 11. Middle stage will be for 11 to 14, and the secondary stage will be 14 to 18. Now, what is the best part has been included is about the early childhood care education, because now it is expected that this format is also a part of this segment, which was not earlier there. So every school will now have an Montessori or a preschool as well. And that is what the government pays emphasis on, that the preschool, which used to be at the teen shed, will now be a part of the school system. So that probably will be a good feed to your school, right? And then, of course, this early childhood care education, which I talked about, will be starting from 3 years to 8 years, where 3 to 6 will be as in government, it is Anganwadis and Balvatikas. Similarly, it will be there as pre-nursery, nursery, which we used to have in our schools. So pre-nursery is also included. And then 6 to 8 years, early primary classes in grade 1 to 2, because there was a lot of debate that class 1 mein bacche ka kya age hona chahiye. So that is 6 years has been defined, where we talk about leading to brain development, schools preparedness, improved learning outcome, and the employability, that is the overall growth of the country. So iske liye, of course, priority is teacher training, which all the boards, even state boards, are working hard, for making teachers equipped with the technology and the very preface of training to utilize the power of NCF. We need to equip teachers with the right tools. Of course, the tools are mentioned and defined. Every day we get a circular from CBSE with something or the other, and that is the decision-making approach which the teacher has to make in the classroom to bring out learning as a priority. So this type of a framework is being defined in the class and explored to the best of learning, right? And when I am talking about this, there is a rightful approach of teacher training with right tools is being defined. और ये सब टूल को हम लोग ने देखा, परखा, और आज जब सीबीएसई या और भी बोर्ड्स हैं जो प्रैक्टिस कराते हैं ऑनलाइन वेबिनार के थ्रू, तो हमने देखा कि आज एक न्यू एज क्लासरूम डेवलप हो गया है विद द न्यू लर्निंग आउटकम which is related to the pedagogy of planning for teaching, building positive relationship, learning through play. Play has become a very important, particularly in early childhood care format. Then strategy for literacy and numeracy, and creating positive classroom culture. Positive classroom culture where children should learn with interest, joyful nature, and above all, connect with the classroom learning. So that approach of playway method, and also in addition, NCF ने बताया कि आप ये सब चीज करके भी अपने क्लास को इंटरेस्टिंग बना सकते हैं, which includes conversations. Conversations कितनी बार हम बस जाते हैं क्लास में, बच्चों को कहते हैं गुड मॉर्निंग क्लास और ओपन योर बुक्स एंड वी स्टार्ट टीचिंग. कब ऐसा होता है कि हम कभी कन्वर्सेशन करते हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं कि कल क्या हुआ, परसों क्या हुआ, इंडिया मैच जीती तो क्या हुआ, कैसे, व्हाट इज योर व्यू ऑन दैट. So I think it is high time that we understand that through conversations, through storytelling, toy-based learning, songs and rhymes, music and movement, art and craft, organizing the learning spaces, even field trips, you can take them to the chemistry lab, take them to the physics lab, take them to the computer lab. A class 2 child will enjoy going to the chemistry lab, will enjoy going to the physics lab out of the blue. Take them to the place, take them to the principal room, take them to the place, the drawing room, for example, or to the library, and tell them what is the utility of this room. So this is the type of spending time in and with nature, outdoor games, indoor games. So this is what is the practical approach. Not only this is beyond academics, what they're talking about. And then, of course, the learning is also defined with the structure, approach to teaching mathematics through ideas, through concrete experience. And even it's a small example given with the mathematics where we talk about numbers, relations, mathematical operations, shapes, patterns, measurement, data handling. And then, of course, it talks about oral math, skills, practice skills, reinforcing learning, which we studied in our B.Ed, problem solving, and then approach has to be through the tools of assessment, which I discussed earlier also. It can be through the anecdotal records, the checklist, the event sampling, the portfolios of the children, the photographs, the artifacts, and the work samples, the worksheets. And we need to analyze the response through the teaching learning process, documenting and communicating the assessment approach, right? So, of course, there stands with the right techniques. Then we have to understand about the recognition, the sound, symbol, skill focus based, the approach. And then, of course, NCF also suggests the balanced literacy approach for early language and literacy instruction, which suggests 4 models. So, aap dekhiye, 4 models are, the first one is the oral language, word recognition, reading, and writing. So that can be well read and well explored through that approach, which talks about experience, spoken language, pictures, and written symbols. This is the approach of ELPS. And then, of course, oral math, skills teaching, maths. So this is just an example which I'm quoting in front, and I'm coming back to this is all I have already defined as a part of an approach. And then, of course, when we talk about this scenario, ये बहुत बताने वाली बात ये है कि ultimately phase 9th और 10th schools should offer 10 subjects required for 10th grade certification. ये देखिए नए सब्जेक्ट इंक्लूड हुए हैं, और साथ साथ 11th 12th में भी चेंजेस आने वाले हैं. करंट 9th और 11th जो आएगा उसमें हम लोग चेंज इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे. This is in 5 years, school should offer subjects for all the 4 groups. And with the march of time, the implementation will take place. Also, this is a format for 12th board certification, where I think you'll come to know with the march of time about the introduction. And they can also study, like, for example, they can even opt for maths, computational thinking, programming, and then, of course, with science. And they can also take the combinations, various combination. And the best part is the combination where children can even opt for social science, science, and commerce. And these are the various combinations where the child can even study business studies, accounting, with maths. They are doing it right away. And then multidisciplinary combination is also possible, where the child can study maths with history, journalism. And these are the framework which has been defined. So it will be told to you by your respective principals of the combinations available at the 11th, 12th level. So schools and examination boards should be prepared to offer and assess all the 10 curricular areas for grade 10 right from the beginning of the implementation of the NCF. Schools and examination boards should be prepared to offer a minimum of 2 language for grade 12 from the beginning of the implementation of this NCF. The school should be prepared to offer subjects for at least 2 groups among groups 2, 3, and 4 immediately. Within 5 years, school should be ready to offer subjects from all the 4 groups. So this is the defined approach. The secondary stage will be for 9, 10th, 11, 12th, and that is what has been planned. And the approach is corrected in the class. And for grades 11, 12, there shall be 2 semesters, and each semester long course can have its own specific course. And then at this stage, this approach has to be defined, right? The pedagogy at this stage, we need to understand more of self-study and exploration with focus on becoming fluent in the methods of inquiry specific to the curricular area. And the students can be reasonably expected to become independent learners. So that is the priority. And the teacher has to teach through discussion, seminars, exploration and discovery, and opportunities for students to prepare individual and group projects and present key concepts of the discipline. So this is what I have been defined and approached to with the assessment for 9th and 10th. इसमें जो भी change होने वाला है, ये circulars आ गए हैं, and I think you people must be well aware about it. 11, 12 maybe there are various options. I have already discussed about different group combinations available, and which is now the priority. So that is in general about NCF. And then there is a mention of foundational literacy and numeracy also, which talks about reading and writing ability and performing basic operations. This is again of great importance to learning. Emphasis on conceptual understanding rather than rote learning and development of capacities. Critical thinking is again the approach which has been defined and explored. So I think this talks about the multidisciplinary approach also, which came with that reference. And I think it is the reference only which we are working through and exploring. Friends, there is a reduced curriculum content. The policy makes it clear to reduce the content in each subject to its core essential, and above all, defining it with the structure. So that idea is going to be reflective in nature, and ideate it to the best of approach. Also, in the reference, I also take this opportunity to make it clear to people about the integration of the vocational education, which has defined with the very integration as well, and also the multilingualism, which talks about the heritage of India, multilingual with the cognitive benefits, multiple languages. The rootedness in India, it talks about cultural aspect as well, and the policy framework. And it has a special mention of art and physical education, which has been given due emphasis, and the extracurricular activities has been dealt with a normal procedure with vocational education. I've already mentioned. Environmental education is also having its approach and a defined connect with reference. Well, friends, the ecosystem I just mentioned talks about this idea and the reference. And I think we all are well aware about the approach. The cultural aspect has been defined, and this connects with the pride approach also with reference and the idea. Other curricular activities, while the curriculum is divided into 8 curricular approaches, the approach of this NCF ensures that there is no hard separation between science and art. And that is what we look at. So the cultural school process have a direct significance to the learning of students, and it aims at achieving that process. So this ultimately defines the approach. And one more slide I wanted to share, that when this will be implemented, the government has announced that beginning with the academic year, textbooks based on the updated NCF would be used in the classroom. This means that the beginning with the following academic year, the modifications outlined in the NCF will be put into practice in classrooms. The implementation, of course, it aims to respond meaningfully to the recommendations of the NEP 2020 in giving more flexibility and the choice to students and not creating hard separations between disciplines. And that is the announcement which was made by the education minister of late as well, that we shall be doing it, and the textbooks are already being put in place with that significance. The role of NCF in education improvement as a guide to developing learner-centered education in India. It provides a framework for curriculum development, textbook creation, and teacher training. It is also used to assess the quality of education in India and to make recommendations for improvement. So that is the link where you can go and take a snapshot of it. So you can study about more of NCF for school education, right? So that is from my end, and I really appreciate your being this initiative to learn with preface and with the guidelines. This is just a little ignition to you people. Of course, with the march of time, जैसे जैसे circulars आते हैं, आप पढ़िए और उसको implement करिए. Let me copy the link and help you with that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Well explanation, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
One question from
I
the
really
sir.
appreciate your connect.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. One question from the audience, sir. NCF has a 4 sections.
Yeah.
NCF for school education.
Yeah.
NCF for early childhood care and education. NCF for teacher education. NCF for adult education. In between, what is the exact role of the teacher, sir?
See, we are more interested to the school education part of it. And of course, which integrates learning in the best of its possible ways. And how it's going to be integrated with NEP. The guidelines are from NEP, which actually defines it. So there is no role as such indifferent. We need to just connect the dots and work as per the circulars, as per the guidelines. It is just a type of a framework given to us to teach. And that is what we need to. But before that, we need to unlearn the last years or the years of teaching and learning which we have had, keeping the fact in view that, as the video suggested, it is, of course, a new fragrance altogether being defined for the connectivity, for the learning scenario. And much of the research has been conducted in this framework and design, So there is no such responsibility or the role, but the idea is that how best we implement the whole process and get the job done in the best of its possible ways.
And
And then what is the
yeah.
difference between NCF and NEF, sir?
What, ma'am? Please come again.
Then what is the difference between NCF and NEF, NEP, New Education
NEP
Policy?
is the National Education Policy.
Yes, yes,
Policy. And
yes,
NCF is the guideline. Guideline जिसके ऊपर वो आधारित है,
true.
right? The National Education Policy is actually a system which is defined as an approach. And of course, it talks about how we are going to implement the process, what will be the guideline, what will be the government's interference, how the schools are going to be built, explored, and the approach has to be drafted. Okay. But curriculum framework as such, I would appreciate if we talk about the policy, because policy gets implemented under a framework. Now, both are interrelated. The education policy provides the guidelines, and then the framework is being defined to make it implemented. So that is the idea. A relative measure can be understood, can be initiated by the very activity we intend to learn, right? So when we talk about NEP, NEP is, of course, the National Education Policy, which again talks about the different stages, the framework, but NEP is not going to come again and again. But this NCF is going to come again and again, keeping the fact that how long or how best the implementation is being done. The framework, the guideline is being put here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If anyone have any query, kindly ask the question. I think concept is
When this,
clear now.
hello,
Yeah, please.
yeah, when this NCF will implement in school in the session 2024-25 or 25-26? What is the probability of
25,
implementation?
24, 25, what is implemented the coming year, the coming March. That is
Okay.
what I said the slide also, no?
So what about the books?
हाँ, तो वही तो बताया आपको कि 9th तक की बुक आ गई है मार्केट में, बाकी गवर्नमेंट ने कहा है कि 9th और 11th में हम इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे.
ओके,
9th और 11th में इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे, तो 9th वाले जब बच्चे 10th में जाएंगे तो अगले साल 10th की बुक आ जाएगी.
नहीं, मेरा कहना है कि जो अभी पब्लिशर्स लेकर के आ रहे हैं, लास्ट ईयर आल्सो दे वर राइटिंग बेस्ड ऑन
नो जो गाइडलाइन आई है वो गाइडलाइन 8th का बच्चा जो 9th में आएगा उसके लिए नई इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है. जो बच्चा 9th का 10th में जाएगा वो पुराने ईयर वाला कोर्स पढ़ेगा.
ओके.
व्हाट अबाउट क्लास 1 to 8?
बट पूरा चेंज हो गया है, पूरा हो गया. आप वो देखिए, न्यूज देखिए, अभी भी रिसेंटली अनाउंस किया है एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर ने कि 1 to 8 का पुस्तक आ गया है. हाँ, they have worked on this, right? They have worked on this and ultimately they have said that it is going to be done in the march of time. The books are going to come.
Wait, Surabhi ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
This is Surabhi Bapna from Birla Shiksha Chittorgarh. I
जी मैम
want to ask sir that, like, can we get the PDF or PPT of this program, as I found few of slides very useful for me as a teacher.
okay
So,
so I
and
will
thank you
put
so much,
PDF
the
of
host,
this.
and thank you so much, the speaker.
Yeah.
Is it
The
possible,
whole
sir?
program was very useful for a teacher.
I will
It
show you
was,
one more slide. Just wait, just wait. I will just share it with Zoom.
few were there for language teachers that were like, being a language teacher, I found them very good.
Hmm. Just a second. There is a mention of a book also. So I will just try to locate it by sharing the slide. Are you able to see the slide, ma'am?
Yes, sir. An EP 2020 at a glance.
Yes. So this is available on Amazon. इसको आप देख लीजिए. इसमें मैंने idea दिया हुआ है. Okay. This will help you.
Audiobook is also available, sir.
The PDF, the ebook is available. It is, I
Okay.
think, 99 rupees or something.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. This is all from my end. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you, Dheeraj
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, educators. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.